All right, all right. Mm. All right, all right, all right. We are back online, back up in the spot after a long hiatus. Get us to the mind. I don't know what episode we are. I figured 31, I think. Um, Street librarian here talking junk with ologist and Les is in the place. I want to talk about a few things going on in the world today, particularly in this case, the situation in Buffalo. That's obviously the probably the thing that's probably most pressing at the moment, outside of what's going on in Ukraine and stuff, and COVID and other things too. But situation in Ukraine with Buffalo, an armed shooter runs into a supermarket in Buffalo and basically murders 12 people. Um, I don't know. It's crazy the whole thing that happened. It's to hear the whole situation. I think I mentioned earlier what bothers me the most about it is how folks in the media try and make people want to humanize the guy that did this bullshit. Like, oh well, he was radicalized by this great replacement theory, which I think is bullshit, or he was mental illness, or it's other shit. And then it's like, to me, it's a pattern. It's like every time I'm watching the news, I'm watching something, you always hear some whenever it's a white shooter, it's mental health. Whenever it's a non-white shooter, it's this criminal, it's this sort of cowardly, you know, animalistic, monstrous action. And it's sickening. It's sickening. And to me, this one really hit close to home because you think, as you think, you know, kind of a jokey thing that you say is like, oh, the hood people, people don't go shoot up the hood, don't go to the store shoot up the hood, and now you look what's happened. And this is this is a few things that happened. You have the whole thing that happened with South Carolina, the church shooting, and you can go back even further. There's the Christchurch shooting in New Zealand, which happened a few years ago. People just going into random places and just mass killing people. And
The
it's
synagogue was at New York or Ohio. I can't remember.
I'm not sure. Synagogue might have been Ohio. I'm thinking. I was thinking. I forgot what the synagogue. But I was thinking about the Crushers thing in New Zealand. I was thinking about obviously the church, South Carolina. Obviously in this, and it's just I don't know. I don't know what do you guys say? What do you say?
I,
I'm
I
kind of
guess
flummoxed.
I guess for me, I guess I'm more. What bothers me more is that Black people as a whole, we don't have the power politically or even financially or whatever it is. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have the power to actually make any true change in this country, right? And I think that bothers me more, right? The things that happen with Asian Americans, within like 3 months, they got something passed to protect their citizens, right? And it just boggles my mind that Black people, we don't have more collective power to actually, you know, if have some sort of change to positively affect us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And things happen to us all the time, right? For centuries. And you know, and I understand what you're saying. They kind of, when they speak about us, they speak about us in a different light than say if they speak about white people.
Of
But
course.
at this point, I think we know how they are, right? We know that they still to this day they don't actually consider us, right? They don't consider Black Americans. A lot of white people, in my opinion, don't consider Black Americans actually Americans at the same level that they are, right?
Right. Right.
And they've proven that for years, right? So part of me is like, we as Black people have to figure out a way to work together and somehow get some sort of power politically or or financially or something, so we can truly make some change, right? Because waiting for white people to have a certain level of empathy for us just isn't working, right?
I agree.
We
So, but
like financially, black folks have money, spend money, and have power, but we don't wield that power in a
we don't wield
cogent,
in the right
in a
ways.
cogent, yeah, in a cogent way. And politically, we're pawns on both sides of both sides of the parties.
So,
We're,
well,
we're pawns on the Republicans as the what to be afraid of, this, that, and the other, and we're pawns to get people votes who aren't going to uphold one promise and do what they say for us if we vote for them.
Mhm.
And nothing is going to change until we change.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't respect us, right? That's really what it comes down to.
Exactly. I
They
don't
just
know.
respect us, right?
Pretty much.
Well, you keep giving them what they want, they keep doing, then they're not going to change. That's
So,
the
all right. Let me ask you this question, Les. What things would you think that we should do, or what things would you have us do with power? Like what things were you suggesting? What you know what I mean? Like you mentioned having some political power. Like, what do you mean? In what way?
Well, so I think they just put in a vote to call whites supremacy a crime, or to put them on the terror list or something like that. And I don't think it's going to pass Congress. I don't think. I think maybe it passed one side of the House or something like that, but
Not the Senate, maybe.
Or one part of the Senate, yeah.
House, but Senate, maybe.
And honestly, I don't truly know. I know we just don't have power, right? I know, like, Asian Americans, they don't have the numbers we have, but somehow they were able to convince the Senate or Congress to be able to put a bill out there for them, right? And I'm not really all into the politics and exactly what we can do. I just know we need to do something. I just don't know what that is, right? I wish I could come up and say we could do this, we could do that. I really don't know. But I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just talking from a frustration standpoint, right? Right. That, yeah, I don't know what we can do, right? We march, we protest, we get mad, but nothing really changes, right, over time. Right.
They've adapted to those strategies, and we think those, because they won 50, 60 years ago, that those are still winning strategies, and they're not. Trying to do something new, trying to do something new.
So here's what I think. I mean, I kind of think, with regards to this whole situation, I think that, the sort of liberal way of looking at things is saying, oh, it's a gun problem. If we need to have better gun control. And yeah, you're right. That is, I do think to a degree that is an issue that needs to be addressed. People having access to guns. But I also kind of look at the ways in which we allow, I don't know, it's a double-edged sword. You hear about this guy being on him being on.
Can you elaborate on liberal, because the true liberals are such a small fraction of the Democratic Party and have have minimal power.
Well, let me I'll just say the Democrats, the sort of democratic liberalism that says gun control.
Yeah, but no, that's my point. Like, Democrats are moderates now; they're not liberal.
Well, there's something opposite than
they're right. They're moderates leaning to the right. That's a better way to put it.
Okay, well, moderates leaning to the right, or non Republicans.
And unlike the other party, the more radicalized aspect of the party is being crushed and will never, probably not in my lifetime, will ever achieve the success that the radicalized part of the Republican Party has achieved. It's not going to happen in my lifetime.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right, and I'm gonna ask a question, but I have a question about that later. As a matter of fact, since you mentioned that, I really think that for the first, I've heard people that leave this country say that it's more it you know it's more dangerous in the U.S. than it is in other countries, and it didn't really sort of really dawn on me until hearing this incident. They're like, in a way, I think I might be safer in other countries than I am in America, in some cases.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Todd, because my mom just came back from the islands, and she was talking about a conversation she was having with one of my relatives. And one of my relatives was like, y'all live in a war zone in the US. I couldn't deal with it, right? And they were saying it in a joking way, but it was the truth. She was like, y'all live in a war zone up there, right? And yeah, so that's definitely something that I've heard from people that live outside of the U.S.
Yeah, you think about it. You think about it. And I'm not talking about just moving to, if I've come from, you're from Antigua or Jamaica. Those are kind of, I'm talking about if I were to move and go to England or go to Germany or go to France or go to Colombia, yeah, I would probably, experience sort of racism, but I would probably experience more racism in the fact that I'm American than being black in many cases, and you look at some of these things happening, and it's like you look at how shabbily that we get treated in many cases in this country. It's like, maybe
the whole dark skin thing is universal.
Yeah, I know to some degree.
No, there's a reason. There's a reason for that. Dark skin, no matter where you were on the planet, basically meant that you were labor class because you had to be out in the sun. It's a historic thing. So you were darker. The upper, because you got more sun. Yep. And more affluent people stayed indoors and were usually fair. So it's probably like a subconscious thing, no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
The darker you are, the more.
It just, I just think of it. You hear some of the things that happen. If I were in a different country, looking at America, you hear about 10 people getting shot, 15 people getting shot. It's like, Jesus Christ, man, it's just crazy, man. It is really crazy, and and you wonder. So the other question I'm thinking is, and I guess I'm asking both you guys, who do you find who outside of the shithead who did the shooting, whom do you think is holds the responsibility or at least holds part of the blame for fanning some of the things that made this happen? Because I think a lot of times we try and to blame it on guns and say, it's the fact that he has an AR-15, and yeah, I get it. The AR-15 is a dangerous weapon. It's not I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a slingshot. It is a dangerous weapon, but a lot of it, But again, if that wasn't the case, you look at before us in the 60s, these guys, you see same cowards bomb churches, It's the same, so if someone wants to commit some sort of terrorist act, they're going to find a way, and you can't change the mindset. And it's like, who, the person if I'm going to put some blame on it, it's these shitheads that have been touting that this shithead that damn replacement theory, which is just complete bullshit. It's the same bullshit that's been going on from slavery times. We don't want you black people out this time of day or corrupting our white woman. It's just that replacement theory. But you look at the people who touted that theory, like the Tucker Carlsons and a lot of Republican and a number of Republican officials that parroted this horseshit philosophy. You look at the bullshit like was it Turner Diaries and shit like that, and the other place that people try and blame that I'm getting less and less. I don't buy it, they blame social media. So they go, well, he was on Reddit, he was on Gab, he was corrupted by these witch calls. I mean, those platforms are going to be the platforms, you know. If someone has hatred in their heart, it's going to be in their heart. You know what I mean? And I think to me, it's these people who
Well,
mainstream
yes and no.
these opinions.
Yes and no. Like you have hatred in your heart, but now there is something that is available 24/7 that's nonstop and constant to fuel that hatred. Before you would
Yeah,
have to you'd have to buy books, read, find groups, this, that, and the other. It was a lot different 30, 40 years ago to fuel that hate.
yeah,
But now you almost had to leave the I wouldn't say necessarily leave your community. You could probably find a few folks in your community, but to do it at the scale that it's done now, like you would have had to leave your community and go move someplace and do that. Now you can do it in the privacy of your own room,
yeah.
your own house.
But how, you know? But again, we can't close that
No, but
Pandora's
it's all no,
box.
but it's not any blaming it. It's our society.
Society, yeah.
No, we make trade-offs, and we're
Mhm.
losing we're losing we're losing certain things in this country. Um, there's there's battling philosophies,
Mhm.
privacy and security.
Yeah, we have too much freedom to a
Yeah,
certain.
people want order and control, but order and control doesn't mean that you get to say anything that you want to say.
Yeah.
But we have free speech,
In,
and even though free
I,
speech is supposed to be just that, the government can't limit free speech. The whole thing with Elon Musk and Twitter and these new laws passed by Republican legislators trying to say that private companies can't moderate things that they own, that's not a First Amendment thing. That's not free speech because those companies aren't owned by the government. But
yeah,
the mind share, because of social media, people actually think that that's true. That Twitter doesn't have the right to moderate its content. Facebook shouldn't have the right. So those places, if those laws pass and get upheld by the current Supreme Court, like, put it this way, same people aren't going to get on those things to be shouted down, threatened, harassed. Who's going to remain on those things? So then your voice, you get quiet, your voice is isolated compared to others. It's not going to be a good thing, but it's coming. It's coming. I mean, hopefully, Elon pulls out of trying to buy Twitter, but we'll see. Where'd Todd go?
Oh no.
Oh, he muted his mic.
Yeah,
You
he's
muted
he's
Todd.
muted.
Todd, you muted.
yeah. From what I've gathered, I've heard that he might not. That it's a lot of this is just smoke and mirrors.
No,
He's
but
just sort of what's going on.
but those legislators. My point is, the legislators have passed the laws, and if those laws get upheld,
Oh yeah,
that's crazy. So if you can't moderate or you can't control your own personal business that you want, so somebody can come into your restaurant and say whatever the hell they want,
Hmm.
and you can't boot them out because you are bridging their free speech.
do you think that America has become? I think I've mentioned this before. That we have put such a premium on individual freedom that
Yep,
we
yep.
have given up collective freedom. You know what I mean? That like me being able to wear what I want to do and say what I want to do and have any kind of gun I want and do whatever I want to do. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter who it affects. You know what I mean? I just need to have my stuff. You know what I mean? There's no
Any extreme is bad. Nobody wants total crazy order of that we all become drones, and like total freedom anarchy is not the thing. It's a balance, and when you move to extremes, extreme things happen.
It's like this whole thing with COVID with the mask. A lot of this is just that's kind of that whole resistance. I don't want to wear a mask because I don't want to get that. I don't want to get jabbed because just what you call it. It's all me. It's all me and mine. I don't know how we. I don't know how we break out of that. I just think that in America, I think we've always sort of had that individual sort of individualist streak where we want to have our own thing and sort of.
I mean, this country is definitely leaned towards individual freedom more than
individualism
collective stuff.
But I think particularly within these past 20, 30 years, we've become even more so. I think even more so. I really am starting to believe even more so. That it's all about me and what do I want.
Yeah,
Look at where past president was.
That may be related to the design of the country.
Yeah.
After all, I mean, this is gonna sound crazy, but it's the whole melting pot theory. I mean, we got folks from all over the world that come in here, that come to this country or were brought here forcibly and work, and trying to make it all work with all these different cultures. Whereas in other places, I'm not saying that it's homogeneous cultures, but they have cultural histories that go back hundreds, thousands of years, and it's harder to break those social mores, memes, and thoughts. Whereas here, when you throw a bunch of folks together with all different stuff, and then you try to create some sort of collective unifying standard, it's not really going to happen.
Yeah.
In a quick manner. And we've only been a country, 250, almost 250.
Yeah, about that 1719.
It'll be 250 in what?
Yeah.
2026.
Yeah, about that. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think part of the issue also is the history of the country and that it wasn't taught correctly for years, right? So there wasn't.
You can't teach it correctly now in some places.
True, but people are realizing that the country was started not as rosy as they made it seem to a lot of people that went through public school, right? They really didn't tell the truth. They didn't tell the horrors of slavery. They didn't tell even the horrors of what happened to the Asian Americans when they went into concentration camps, I think, right?
Internment camps.
Let's go back to the first. They didn't tell the horrors of what happened to the Native Americans.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, it's hard for, say, somebody that comes to this country, or even if you've been in this country and you're descendants of slaves, and even in the islands, we were descendants of slaves, right? If you don't tell that true story, it's going to be a lot harder for people to say, yes, I completely believe in everything America says and everything the government says, right? People are going to doubt it, right? And they're just going to be like, yeah, maybe I should go down another path or a slightly different path than the one you're kind of laying out for me.
I think it's by design that they the whole thing with people fighting against CRT, and they don't want to know, they don't want to tell all the things that they did. They don't want to talk about the Trail of Tears or all the horrors of slavery and internment camps and all the evil things that have been done in this country by those in power. I think they want to sweep under the rug and sort of give you this sort of kumbaya thing. But the problem is that if you're one of these groups that have been oppressed, you deal with the consequences of it. You know what I mean? If your ancestors are brought here and you were brought this country and live like slaves,
you're less American than they are.
You're less American. you have less resources, you are constantly behind. It's the whole thing about the equity race. It's like a marathon, and like, okay, the white guy it's a marathon. He's been running with brand new shoes and training and what you call it for miles, and and the black athletes had a chain and a big rock around his leg, and he has to run that same race. And what gets to says, well, how come you're not fast like me? How come you're where I am? Well, because I got this damn rock around my leg, and that's what I think is what they don't want to address, the rock that's there, or what has been done to keep us in a certain place, or keep us from being where we need to be.
Like, no, I think I should say that. Well, they'll address the rock. They just don't want to. They don't want you to rewind the videotape of them chaining it to your leg.
Yeah, yeah, sure about that. They go, hey, that rock there.
Go back and show me putting this rock on your leg.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. They're like, hey, how'd you get that rock there, man? That rock looks heavy. Wow, man. Wow. Hey, that's too bad you get that rock on your leg.
But, with me if you didn't have that rock.
Well, yeah, you must have put that rock on yourself. That's what and I think that's what I think that is what we don't really address. We don't address and people, when we talk about CRT, that's what it really addresses. That's what they don't want to address. They don't want to address the fact that a lot of this stuff has been historic, and it's years and years and years and years and years of you always having advantage, and that's the problem, and that is what's the problem, why a lot of people are in these situations, why blacks are so poor, why we're in situations living in the ghetto like we are. It ain't because we're lazy, and it's and I think about it from a standpoint, it's like, as even people who come from different countries, different places to this country, so Africans and they have they have their own culture there, and it's you look at us, how we're here. It's like we've been just dropped off and like, fend for yourself.
No, our culture was severed.
Our culture was right. Let me change. They're severed, right? So we have no connection to where we're from. Like, I don't know if I'm part Nigerian or from Ghana or from whatever. I don't know. I could probably do some ancestry. Go ahead, Wizard.
I don't think anybody's.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. You don't have that connection with where you're from, and it's you think about it. Okay, you just think, oh, I'm from Africa, kings and queens from Africa, but where in Africa? Africa is a continent. It has hundreds of countries in it.
Well, you know what? We may genetically we may be from there, but for us, we can't focus on that because, like you say, we don't know. And I'm not gonna believe the 23andMe and all of that stuff, because that states who you have genetic similarities with. That's not necessarily your genetic ancestry. That just means, huh?
I was gonna add, we're all mutts, really, to be honest. We're all mixed up with all sorts of what's called. I'm probably, I might be part Scandinavian for all I know, but I think that kind of in a long way, that in a long look, it kind of affects how we look at our.
No, what I'm saying is our history starts here in America, and from that point on, and we need to be proud of our ability to survive and thrive in horrific conditions and build and grow forward, and not be limited by that history, instead of I shouldn't say fabricating, but fantasizing about who we could have been, or who we could have been related to on the continent of Africa, because there's no way that we can really.
There's no way to tell who it could be.
We're not white folks and can trace our lineage back to 15th century Europe and blah, blah, blah. That's not happening with us. So I don't even waste time, energy, or anything focusing on that.
Yep, you got a point. You got a point. Yeah, it's crazy. This whole Buffalo situation, man. It's that happened, man. The fact that what? Remember, hey, Les, did you see that? Did you see that? Did you watch that video that Trev sent you? Sent us.
I only watched it once, man.
I watched it once and yeah, I'm ready to delete that shit.
So terrible, man.
Yeah, man. It was. Oh, it's just, you know, it's just. Um, uh, so I'll just another friend of ours, Trev, he sent us a video. I guess a portion of the video of the guy's video that's out there, and it's it's shit you want to see, and it's just like, man, this is what the world's come to, you know.
Oh, it's here. It's not come to. It's here.
Yeah, it is here, and it's like, it's like, how do you defend that? How do you defend that? You look at people; those are people who wouldn't. They would just go in the store and mind their business. It's such a cowardly act. I'm sure in his mind he's framing it that he's some sort of Christian. He's a sort of racial warrior that's fighting what you call it. I'm like, dude, you are a coward of infinite proportions.
And how doesn't he catch a gunshot, catch a swollen eye? Like the dude had no marks on him. Like,
yo,
you got black people getting pulled over, no weapon on them, getting shot dead. And this white guy goes in there, shoots up 10 people, and they just take him and just put him in cuffs and carefully put him in the back of a cop car. The fuck is going on?
Think about this. Look, you remember the situation with Dave Chappelle? Look how they beat that dude up. Look how they tuned that dude up. And they did nothing to this guy. I'm like, wow, man. I'm like, it's just, and to me, it's just so cowardly, yo. You know what I mean? It's boggling, mind-boggling how cowardly this guy is, And then I was going to kill myself, but yeah, okay, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Crazy times, man. Crazy times, man. Crazy times, man. So what else is going on, fellas? What else is new in the world today, man?
About the economy, man. Tell you the truth, I did vote for Kamala and Biden, but they doing horrible, bro. They are doing horrible, right?
Yeah.
The economy is garbage. I ain't like literally. There's no baby formula on the groceries.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Terrible, right? There's like, if DJ got on here and started saying, "Yo, I told y'all," he would be right. I mean,
but do you think Trump would have been better? That's the question. I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
The president doesn't have that type of
control. The president has the type of power.
Well, wait a minute. So why do you pick a president? What's the reason to pick a president? So if the president doesn't have any power to help the economy or those type of things, what is the purpose of having the president? What's the purpose?
The president doesn't have direct control. They can pressure the agency that handles the interest rates to do things. They can give stimulus money, but they can't make businesses operate the way that they want to operate when they're publicly or privately held business. And COVID has screwed up supply chain lines, and everybody thinks just because we taken the mask off that everything's back to normal. Yeah. Well, it might be normal. It might look normal where you're at, but the supply chain in China, Central America, South America, look what Greg Abbott did to the Texas economy by with the trucks on the borders and them rerouting. Now you go to Texas and they got a lot of empty shelves, produce, this, that, and the other.
Can either you explain what situation is with baby formula? What's the story behind it? I still haven't quite been able to figure out why is there a shortage of baby formula.
Well,
Is
how can I?
is this some sort of, is it a company like
No,
is
like
sort of,
COVID is not over, and every country response is not like America and just herd immunity or but. I just heard this podcast talking about I think it's auto manufacturers in either China, yeah, I think it was in China.
Mhm.
They have a total, their factories are a completely closed system. The people work there, live there, sleep there, eat there, and cannot leave. That's what they're doing. That would never fly. That would never fly here. So if people get sick here, like there's certain products, if they don't have the workers to process the products and goods after the surplus goes down, it's gone. And then it's
Mhm.
going to take a while for it to get back moving and build up. That's the way our economy is designed, and I don't know any president that can make that happen short of using the military to go work in factories, and that's not going to happen.
I guess the only thing like, how do you value? How do you rate a president or administration? What would be the goals, or what would, like, how would you evaluate them? How do you
Well,
evaluate if a
well, I mean,
president
I think we
or
would really have to know.
did
I
or
think
did
the
that?
American public would really have to know what what a president actually can and cannot control and rate them accordingly. But we've created a mythos the about the office, and that's what we vote on. We vote on vote on personality and image that we think would do a good job running the country, um when they might not necessarily have the skill sets to do the actual task that's actually required of the job.
Mm.
Right. But I guess, not that like I said, I voted for Biden, but if I just go by, if I'm just going by the economy, and maybe that's just too broad of a measurement, but the economy was better under Trump, right? There's no doubt about that, right? I mean, Trump said a lot of things that I disagreed with, that pissed me off, and those type of things. But I'm struggling to find anything that Biden administration has done that has been a
Well,
benefit.
Trump was in office when there was no toilet paper, this, that, and the other, when COVID first started, but people,
Mhm.
I guess that just strictly gets attributed to COVID. And like I said, now that we're still in a pandemic, but it's the illusion that things have returned back to normal, but it really hasn't. It,
Right.
I,
But it's been 2 years since Biden's been in office. What has he accomplished? I guess that's what I'll say. What has
no,
he
no, no.
accomplished?
That's a better question. Just to, oh shoot, let me see. Can I pull it up on my phone? I was just looking over his contract with Black America and was just cracking up. Not one box checked.
Oh
who
man.
Biden,
who
his
Biden?
plan for Black America. Remember, he
Yeah.
had that big long thing
I mean,
that he put on his website.
oh yeah. Well, he did.
Remember,
He did.
Biden did it, and then Ice Cube did one, and y'all was dragging Ice Cube. Remember?
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. I would say, okay, what has he done? He did put a black woman on the, what you call it, on the Supreme Court. That's something.
Okay.
Well, that's something. I didn't say it was.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes.
It's
Yes.
something.
Every voice.
It's
That's what it
something.
was called. Lift every voice. Biden's plan for Black America.
I mean, but to be honest, that's all presidents. All presidents are even in the best of times. Do you know, under
You're doing
Obama?
you're doing that thing where they get you to vote for you, then you make excuses when they don't deliver.
No,
Biden's plan will advance the economic mobility of African Americans and close the racial wealth and income gaps, expand high quality education, make far reaching investments in health and health disparities, strengthen commitment to justice. He ain't done not one of these yet. make the right to vote and the right to equal protection real for African Americans. Didn't do that. Voting Right Act to like address environmental justice.
I guess my question is that what do you think Trump would have did better?
It's not a look.
Well, I don't even know if it's a question.
Yeah,
because I
that's
don't know
what I'm saying.
The real question is, what has Biden done?
Exactly.
Could Trump have done better? Could he have done worse? Maybe, maybe not. But he's not the president over the last 2 years. Biden has been.
So
He's had the power.
So like people say like no. People say that how can I say this? I don't know. It's not a direct correlation. It's probably more an irony than anything. People say if you vote for a third party candidate for president, that's a wasted vote. Well, if you voted for Biden as a vote against Trump, is that a wasted vote also? Now, if you look back on it,
it might be.
If you're voting really against somebody instead of for somebody.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a valid point. I can honestly say is a cogent point. You know, I can't argue with that.
Nobody wanted to hear some of the points that the third party candidates were making because we just had to get Trump out of office.
Right.
We just had to get Trump out of office.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I do agree.
Yeah. I'm not. And now the Republicans, like it was absolutely amazing. I saw this on the same scroll on my on my news feed. Senate passed $40 billion of whatever aid for Ukraine, and then the Senate introduced a bill to stop Biden from canceling student loan debt. We gonna spend $40 billion across the Atlantic, and we don't want to cancel our own citizens' debt. That's insane.
Hey, you know, it's you know, and everything's bad, man. Even I don't know if any of you are in the crypto. Even in the crypto market is tanking.
You mean the new pyramid scam? No, I'm not in the new pyramid.
No,
you ain't got no crypto. You're not in the crypto.
Nope, not me either. It's not backed by anything. As soon as I understood that it wasn't backed by anything,
that's air.
You know what got me with crypto? And to be honest, I would make it if I had you know, I don't know, spare some money. I would make a small investment and see what happens with it. I would have at one point if I understood it.
I don't know if you really researched crypto.
And I haven't, but here's the thing that I found out. It's like the thing that I couldn't get over with crypto is like it fluctuates so much. So it's like you could have
it's worse than that, Todd. It's worse than that. If you have like that's just the old term money on paper.
Yep.
That's all it is. Because when you try to go to a bank and get it out, it's these exorbitant fees, this, that, and the other, and you can only take out so much. Like it's not real money.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of it reminds me. It does kind of remind me of a Ponzi scheme. I'm glad. It's a good thing.
It's not like okay, I have stocks and bonds. Yeah, okay, I got stocks and bonds. You can have stuff in retirement plans. You can draw stuff out. You can take a tax penalty, but you can get real cash, and you know the percentage that they're going to take out, and you know exactly what you're going to get. With
That's
crypto, and like if you lose your keys and that money is floating around, like I've heard so many stories of tech folks who have had hard drive crashes and they can't recover their keys, and all that money is just gone.
Oh.
Or somebody might have figured out a way to get the keys and steal the money. If your hard drive crashes with your wallet on it, your money evaporated. Or the other way is you can have what is it called? I can't remember. It starts with C, like a commodity wallet or something like that, where an outside
it's a Bitcoin wallet, something like that.
Yeah. But if they go bankrupt, then you just lose all your money gone too. It's not insured. It's gone. It's a Ponzi scheme. Don't go forward.
I'm glad I just couldn't get it.
You can get your money to the ology crypto. Ology crypto. I'll take it.
You gonna start your own NFT? Get it. Buy some get us the mind NFTs.
And all that is a link that's controlled by another company, one company. And if that company like loses the link, this, that, and the other, then you don't really own that. Like it's
Yeah.
all a scam.
It is. I just, but yeah, we're in a hell in a handbasket these days, man. Gas almost $5 a gallon, cryptos and the economy's in the toilet, war in Ukraine, motherfuckers shooting up
Man, I tried to go get
stores.
hamburgers to make some hamburgers tonight. 4 hamburgers I was looking for. $10 at the store.
Oh yeah. No, it's ridiculous.
Huh?
No, food is ridiculous.
Yeah, I was like,
Man,
it's cheaper to go to McDonald's. I said, you gotta be kidding.
No, you can't go to McDonald's no more.
Man.
This with cheap
Mm-hmm.
as about 2 or 3 months ago. I remember going to one of the McDonald's that's close to my house, and it was this white dude that walked in, and he's like, "How much is a quarter pounder?" Lady said like $5 or $6. He's like, "That's Five Guys money. I could go to Five Guys. I could get a bigger, better burger." He walked out of there cussing and fussing. I was cracking up, but no, like if you go now, all of the like most of the the meal plans, like you're gonna spend like $10 on a meal just to get a burger, a drink, and a fry.
Oh yeah.
I stopped at McDonald's today, and they've taken the price of French fries off the menu because they don't want you to know how much they cost.
Wow.
Yeah, man, fries are got it. Used to be fries are cheap. You can get some fries for
no,
$3,
fries.
$4, not $5 for fries, man.
Oh no, Daddy gonna be at home frying up some fries.
Hell yeah, man.
We're gonna go to Five Guys.
I'll start buying cabbages and eating cabbage soup and shit like that, man. Like the old school, like Depression era foods,
No, man, them food prices is no joke, man. Them things is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this train, what is it, Wingstop? It started in Texas, but I saw this article on a financial website. What did they say? The prices of chicken wing per pound are coming down. At one point, it was up to about $3.40, $3.50 per pound. Now it's down to $1.60 something. And because like that franchise, when COVID first started, like when you couldn't get wings, or you couldn't get, it was hard finding just packaged chicken in general. They started doing it became Thigh Stop. Like they had to sell chicken thighs because nobody could get.
That's right. I'm hearing that. Yeah, that's right. It was a shortage chicken. Yeah, we're talking about that around about
processing like plant stuff.
A few months ago. Yeah, they were talking about that a few months ago. Good, because it was around about Super Bowl time.
And also, like you also got to factor in like global warming. I was listening to the Connecticut NPR news, NPR podcast, and they were talking about how the fish that we eat is going to change because of global warming, and the warming of water in certain species are just going to be, they're not going to be as abundant, and we're going to have to start eating other stuff.
Yep.
Same thing with coffee. They're gonna have to find places to grow coffee because the temperatures are changing, and coffee is going like the kind of bean, Arabica beans that we mainly drink instead of the Robusta. Like those things, the climate, the zones that they can grow them in are shrinking.
Yeah, man. That's crazy times, man.
The world is ever changing.
Yeah, man. Hell in a handbasket, man. Hell in a handbasket, man. Hell in a handbasket. So I think the last thing I wanted to talk about is we talked about earlier is I mentioned Kevin Samuels, and I just want to kind of get a little discussion about that online and talk about that and the whole manosphere deal, and so apparently a couple weeks ago, Kevin Samuels, relationship expert, died of apparently a heart attack. He was with some
Relationship
woman,
pundit.
relationship pundit, died. Apparently he was with some female and he expired.
Himself.
And, huh?
He overexerted himself.
Yeah, who knows? But not to be funny.
Y'all know the
He,
Richard Pryor joke?
what's that?
He came and went at the same time.
Oh, hey, hey, you think about it. That's the best way to go out, really. Best way to go out. Well, anyhow, so we were discussing earlier. So a lot of people, a lot of women were very like there's lots of women who were really like super happy that he died, and I'll give you my opinion. I mentioned my opinion about it was that I think he was a grifter. I think he was a grifter. I think he found something that I think he keyed into something, some insecurity that men and women were dealing with, and he found a way to monetize it through YouTube. And he wrote it, and he wrote that motherfucker till to 1 million followers and lots of money and lots of clout. And what I find really weird about not really him, but just sort of it's the hero worship of Kevin Samuels. Like you think that he had written this sort of this tome, like he had written this great, men are from Mars, women are from Venus book, or that he had created some, come down from the mountain with these tablets that talks about women things. What really all he had was a YouTube channel, you know? I mean, you hear people comparing him to like, and I don't like him either, Jordan Peterson. But at least Jordan Peterson has a degree, and he's written some books. He's done something, and it's just interesting to see how people have almost mytholized him. It made him like this mythic person.
Read, like, what do con men and grifters try to do?
Play on your emotions.
No, they
Confidence,
tell you
your
what you want to
confidence.
hear.
Yep.
They want you to identify with them, believe in what they say, and they sell you what you want to hear well, for him, he wasn't necessarily taking their money. He was
He
taking
was.
no.
Go.
No, I mean, I'm just talking about revenue he got from the social media platforms. He was taking their eyeballs and their engagement, and thus getting money from them that way.
Have you ever listened to him? Any of his discussions?
No, I don't. I can't.
I at one point I think I did catch a couple of his live streams, and when I first saw it, I was like, yo, this guy is arrogant as fuck. You know what I mean? You hear him, maybe like, get the likes up, and his whole, it's the whole show thing when people are streaming on live on YouTube, and it is a skill, but you look at it, it's just so phony. This whole high value man thing, and then you try to explain it. What's making $100,000 a year? Well, $100,000 a year is, yeah, that's pretty good money. But if here, maybe where we are, but if you move to the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, you're poor. Is that high value? And it was always just sort of shell game, moving the things around. As a high value man is this, and this is all this thing. And if you're a high value man, you have options and all this other stuff. And his whole and one of his things was having women call his show, and he would he would read them. He'd tell them that they're, you're 5'2", 200 pounds, you built like a linebacker, you'll die alone. And that was his shtick. He got super popular about that. And it's interesting to see how many people fell for that, and I'm sort of using him as an example to talk about the manosphere in particular, and it kind of you know, I watch these shows and it's like, yo, these dudes are so insecure, man. You know, you look at the insecurity surrounding
It's
these guys talk about it. It's astounding, man. You know, like a woman shouldn't like a woman. If a woman is successful, that's some sort of a strike against her. You know, or you know, and
I mean,
it's just amazing.
I mean, he's doing it on YouTube. It's a range of stuff. Like I remember when certain talk shows like Dr. Phil, Ayana saved my life. Like they were just hustling. People go on there, they give them a good show. They put all their family business out there. Cry, I'm gonna give you a couple sessions of therapy, and then I'm gonna follow up with you. Like that's not gonna cure all of that grief and
But
trauma.
you know what? I can respect someone that has. If I'm a therapist and I've written a book, and you know, yeah, you may be peddling something,
No, but see that
but at
that's
least you
the
have
thing.
something
If
to
you
peddle.
if you
He
are a
wasn't peddling
therapist,
anything.
no. If you are a therapist and when you see the folks like not, how can I say, follow certain therapeutic principles because they're on that format, he's doing a show.
Yeah,
There's some therapeutic stuff sprinkled in, but he's not doing it at a high fidelity rate because he has to get the shocking stuff out there. Um, he already has screened them with the stories, knows the
mm,
questions to ask. That's not how therapy works.
yeah,
People tell you what they want to tell you when they want to tell you,
yep.
and you listen and you provide his story. Those shows would be very boring if it was
It
at if it was at a real pace.
it is to me. It's so interesting, you know, in watching. You know, and I'm using Kevin Samuels as sort of the proxy, but there's a bunch of these dudes that have this whole high value man crap, and you know, and watching. It's funny when you watch it, you have this sort of two different strains of it. There's the divorce guy that maybe is married and he got screwed and he got hosed by his wife, and now he's bitter and he's become this sort of, you know, I'm this sort of monk figure and I'm gonna go, men go their own way, they call it MGTOW, I think it's called, men go their own way. And then there's a young guy that sort of is hijacked the high value man, and you know they want to act like they're, you know, they're everything's all about them, and it's like it's just, you know, you listen to it, it's just so superficial and so
And that's and
immature.
that's fine. And those people will have those types of relationships, and that's their life. And
Yeah,
if
I
you're
guess
foolish
so.
enough to listen to somebody on YouTube for life advice, as the old saying goes
Who his money up
in
to party.
consumerism and capitalism, buyer
Yeah.
beware,
Yep.
buyer beware.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. Look,
Yeah, man. It's just, you know, but interesting stuff, man. Interesting things, man. So what else is going on, man? What else is going on in the world, man? Anything you want to talk about, Mr. Ologist?
I've been binging Power, the Showtime show.
How I could I never I couldn't
I was
I
on the fence. I was on the fence the first couple episodes, and then it kind of, I was like, oh, this is routine, and then it got interesting.
Yeah,
is it
best show since The Wire.
huh?
Yeah,
Best show since The Wire.
yeah.
I like I'm more I like Snowfall.
Oh
I've
yeah,
never.
good
I'm
too.
telling you, Snowfall, yo, Snowfall is my show, man. I
I
just
haven't
haven't
watched
been
that.
able to connect the power yet. Hmm?
What is that on AMC?
That's on FX,
FX.
and it's
Okay.
and it's sort of telling the explosion of crack cocaine in the early '80s, and it's telling it from different points of view. So you have one guy that's like an FBI agent, and he's the one who has the money to buy it or who has a product, and then there's the street dude who's the guy who sells it, and they talk about him, and then there's the Mexican guy who like has the connection to the actual cocaine, and it's interesting. It's really interesting. The season was kind of crazy though, but I've been really into that lately.
Did you watch the wedding episode when what's his
I
name?
did. We
Spike,
got dosed.
Spike the
We got
drink.
dosed. Yep, I saw that. I was like, did you see the one with the lion?
Yeah,
With the tiger?
yeah.
I was like, yo, what the hell, man? These dudes, they what? No, they get they get shot at. Some dude they get some dude tries to assassinate them and they get separated. Is that what happened? And then they wind up running from because they run this Mexican gang and then they wind up in this guy's backyard who has like a lion. I'm like, it was crazy. and I don't trust Franklin's girlfriend at all, yo.
Who's
in the show? Franklin's girlfriend.
Yeah.
I don't trust her, yo. At one point, I thought she ran off with the money.
Me too. Yeah.
Because I was like, but they didn't play it that way, and I was like, I just don't trust her. I still don't. I don't know what to make of it, but I never trust her.
Nope. Yeah, she's slick. She's
smart.
She's
slick.
Yeah, but Power is a very good show. Very good show.
I guess I got to give it a chance. I just kind of thought it was kind of slow and it didn't connect with me yet. I gotta give it a chance and see what's the story was.
Yeah, what's Amazon Prime had a thing for a couple months, and I started watching Power late.
Really?
My subscription about to expire soon, 99 cents a month. But when that one expired, Roku got a deal for Stars for another 2 months for 99 cents a month.
I'm actually thinking about getting rid of Netflix, man. I'm kind of it's not much on there. I mean, there is some stuff, but the money I'm paying for it, I don't watch it often. I actually watch Prime more than anything else, really.
Yeah, half the new stuff on Netflix, you got to read the freaking movie or read the show because that shit not in English.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that gets me about Netflix and a lot of way things are now. Shows are now. I'm tired of seeing shows that are about an event. You know, say it's about guys rob a bank or some documentary or something, and it's 6 parts, and it's not that. And when you go through it, it's not that important. It's like, can't you just make it an hour long or a 90-minute movie? Does it need to be 6 hours long? Everything is 6 hours long. Everything is like 8 parts and 6 parts, and it's like it doesn't need to be like that. You know, can't you just tell it in 90 minutes or in a 2-hour movie or 2.5 hours if it's an epic story? It gets to the point where like some of these shows. Some of these shows are good. Some
like everybody pulled their content. Well, a lot of people pulled their content from them, and they were just a streaming service, so they have to figure out how to make high quality original content.
I mean, Netflix, don't get me wrong, Netflix does have some good content, but they got a lot of crap on there, man.
No,
I mean, a lot of just crap on there.
No, but they have to. Netflix is what's the word I'm looking for? Netflix is the general store for streaming, whereas the other ones have certain niches.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how come they have all. That's how come like there's some of everything. Netflix has. They have your true crime. They got the kids. They got the reality stuff. They got the side. Like it's the general store.
But you know what though? It's its own stuff though, and some of it is not like good. You know,
correct.
I mean,
this is coming from the man that touts Amazon Prime, even though you know me and my B Black movies that I love watching on Amazon Prime, shot with a camcorder in 1998.
Yo, you know what though?
Different major cities of the U.S. I love them.
You know what? Me too. You know what? I actually like Amazon Prime. I mean, I'll watch.
So don't make the quality argument if you're gonna drop Netflix and keep.
Let me put it like this: it's not necessarily quality in terms of like how much money is spent on it. I'm talking about it's variety and stuff. Like I can, samurai movies I can watch Amazon Prime. I can watch foreign movies. I can watch horror movies. I can watch all that. And it's not. It may not be the big budget stuff because Netflix doesn't have their own stuff either. But Amazon has their own stuff. It's usually pretty good and comparable with Netflix. But they also have a lot of like lower budget movies. And sometimes I'll catch like a bang on there. I'll be like, what? Some low budget, small movie that I didn't know this was on there, and it's pretty good. And what the hell? It's I get Amazon Prime anyhow. If I order stuff from Amazon, I get it. So it's a benefit. And I just prefer that over Netflix. It just, to me, don't really do it for me.
Netflix has the same low quality stuff. You just gotta find it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's me. I'm just not.
But no. I mean, it's harder on Netflix because Amazon Prime it doesn't have as much diversity as Netflix. Netflix has everything, every genre.
See, I don't know about that because when I go to Netflix, they have some movies there, and occasionally I watch a movie or two there. But with Amazon Prime, I'll find they have more movies, and they might be low budget movies. I can catch some old.
Amazon Prime just bought MGM. Netflix doesn't have studio content because everybody
that's what it is
on their own streaming service.
That's what it is.
It's going to be hard. That's how come you see all these serialized stuff.
Yep.
That's how come you see all the serialized. This is 6 episodes, blah blah blah, because they're trying to stretch it out.
And it's not, and that's my issue. It's not that good. Like Netflix has Mike Myers, even this new Mike Myers series on there, right? The Pentaverse. It's like this sort of Illuminati thing, right? And I'm like, I started watching it, and it's like, if it were a 9-minute movie, it might be cool. I probably could watch it. But instead, they're stretching it out to 4 and 5 hours. Why? I don't need to watch it. It isn't worth it. And the same
it's
thing
probably the genres we watch, because on Prime, when I watch sci-fi stuff, like most sci-fi, I mean, it's some, like I said, it's some stuff shot with a camcorder and probably edited on a Amiga 64, an old computer. I usually get to about 15 minutes and I tap out. Whereas on Netflix, even if it's bad, I usually get through the whole movie. It's enough to hold me there. With the quality of the filmography and also how the story is written, I can understand they just didn't have a budget. I see what they was trying to do. But Prime, just horrible.
I've caught some bangers on Prime. I'm telling you.
And all of that stuff. I'm just saying it's probably the.
But I do agree with you. Their sci-fi is weak. On Prime.
Garbage.
Yeah, their horror has a pretty good section. Drama, and a lot. You can get a lot of action movies. Like a lot of foreign stuff. Like you have a lot of Japanese movies. I was watching like samurai movies and stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of that on there. A lot. But in terms of just other stuff, it's kind of weak. All right, fellas. I think we've exhausted our slew of topics, man. Appreciate you dudes showing up, man. We'll do it again. We'll have another discussion, man. A bigger, longer discussion. Keep contact. Let me know what you guys want to rap about, man. We'll figure out something, man. Do it another time.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
All right, man.
Fellas, have a good weekend.
All right, you too, man.
Y'all too.
All right,
Bye-bye.
peace.